do it. What's up, Stitt-Heads? We are back again. And wait a minute, almost forgot. Got to get that in there. So, man, it's been 5 years since, well, shit, 6 years at this point since the Summer of Love 2.0, mostly peaceful but fiery protests. All the hypocrisies of everything that was going on in that crazy, wacky world of 2020. And let's revisit a little bit of some of those things. So, today's guest, first time appearance, is Maryam Henein coming on, and she has some very interesting background, multiple documentaries, multiple books, a lot of doxing and trying to be canceled, and we can get into that as well. But Maryam, go welcome to the show, and go ahead and
Hi.
introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, Derek. I go by the Bee Lady. I'm
Yeah.
best known for directing the award-winning film Vanishing of the Bees, which was number one in this country. And back when I was in the mainstream and working for MSNBC and writing for all the top magazines, and then started covering vaccines in 2012. And then my life has been turned upside down because I've been on the real front lines of an invisible war, really taking bullets because my coverage is vaccines, medical freedom, transhumanism. I was one of the only to cover Charles Lieber, who's actually back in the news, and of course, George Floyd, Operation George Floyd. So this is this is my Whopper book for anyone who still reads or people who like whodunit material that nobody on the face of the planet is aware of. And then there's my documentary, which I had Sean Hibbler co-produce and edit the real timeline. So, I think maybe people have George Floyd fatigue. But if you look at it just like as a story, or the book is more like how you make the sausage, and once you see the playbook, like when I speak to normies, they still have no idea that these guys worked in the same club together. And
Mhm.
so, you know, here we are, what is it, 2 years since Derek got shanked, and I have exclusive information. And I think I kind of foiled the fake Free Derek movement. And so then you
Mm.
have people like Derek Chauvin's appeal lawyer going on Tucker Carlson to talk about his theories when I have the actual truth. And the film, for instance, has been brought to Tucker Carlson's purview. So at
With
one
no
point,
response, I'd imagine. No response from his people.
no,
No, of course not.
no. So I told the lawyer, why are you going on Tucker to talk about theories when I actually have the truth? And
Mhm.
of course, people are whoring for fame. So he just sees like, oh, I'm on Tucker Carlson. It's good for business. And meanwhile, from my perspective, see the cock blocking that has been going on when, for instance, three different publishers have effed with me. And this third publisher didn't publish anything. He even told me he's printing it. And then later, I mean, he's like a mafioso. So then I found out that my gut that hits a Fed. So when you're infiltrated by Procter and Gamble, when you're smeared on television in a humiliation series, like wow, I must be special, right? There must be something because I am the most censored person that I know as far as real censorship, not just like, oh look, they're getting censored. Oh, they're back at it, making more money than ever.
We're not talking shadow bans. Yeah, exactly. We're talking real censored.
No, we're talking banned on Venmo, Vimeo, PayPal,
Hmm.
GoFundMe, Instacart, Airbnb, Amazon, Bumble. Get it? Be Lady banned off Bumble. Smeared on television, debanked. Have the government come after me more than once in
It's
reference.
insane. It's insane that like people don't realize, like you said, it's like a silent war. There's just for trying to tell an exposed truth. It's like that. God forbid, they back in the day they just try to kill people, but it started getting too obvious to just keep offing people. So next thing they're doing it in a financial way.
Yeah,
They're
they could
debanking it.
digitally
Yep.
and assassinate. And it's not the truth, it's the details in the truth because there's
Hmm.
tons of tries. Like I do not throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I am capable of saying truth, truth, lie, tries. And so it really is requiring if people care, unless they want to live in a fake and gay world and be brainwashed by programs and self-limiting. But I personally want the truth and nothing but the truth, even if it hurts.
That's how it should be. So I mean, with that, it's like you said in the beginning a little bit in your introduction that George Floyd fatigue, okay, right? But I feel also that there's a lot of things that don't get discussed enough anymore because of how our timeline is so fast anymore. To where it used to be 2 months for a story, and then the next story would come up. Then it turned into 2 weeks. Now it's 2 days. Now it's 2 hours, and it's so in a way the fatigue. It's like we've already moved past it.
Right. But the repercussions still live on, like the
Bingo.
3,000 bills that have been instituted in regards to the duty to intervene and policing. So, and, there's George Floyd murals and scholarships. And so, yes, we all have attention spans of gnats, and these psyops are written many in the future. It's just like you
Hmm.
see a Game of Thrones and it's very explicit and detailed. So like my beliefs is like, oh, the Epstein, they planned all of this, all these like regurgitate, but the actual truth of the matter never really gets addressed. And so if you do look, let's say at the book to teach yourself about Tavistock or how layered it is, and you liked whodunits. I mean, I come from maybe a different generation where I'm a nerd and a bookworm and still read. So, and then, the film I also saw, I've seen from my, I guess, vantage point, the attempts to hide. I mean, I'm an award-winning actual journalist, right? I'm
Hmm.
not just some Chiquita off the street, right? So in regular, a real world, like think about it, Darnella, the 17-year-old who caught that footage, won literally a Pulitzer Prize. Like
Hmm.
what? Like it belongs to me, actually.
That's wild.
Yeah, she got accolades from Spike Lee for her footage. What?
Of course. Spike Lee, nice little grifter. He can be right sometimes, but you're like, bro, you're just like a Jesse Jackson, and the rest of the grifter is race baiting all the time. But continue.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where you if you saw the movie or if you have any specific questions.
I saw the first third of it. I'm gonna finish it tomorrow, but I've got 3 kids and a crazy life,
Oh
so
wow, you have
I've got
three
the first
kids?
third of it done.
Wow, kudos to you, Daddy. Um, yeah, so yeah, I don't know if you have any specific questions and
Well, let's get into just revisiting it because, like I said, it's been almost 6 years at this point, and we had the whole, with your recent trip, or I guess your past, your last, sorry, I'm tongue tied, your last Tripoli appearance. Um, you were bringing up that there's still a lot of questions about the George Floyd situation, the Derek Chauvin situation, and then also the fact that a few months before that, the world was locked down and we're wearing masks, but then George Floyd, I can't breathe. And there's a funny, weird symbolism and connection in that. Like, and then right after George Floyd's death, then we have, oh, it's okay to go protest, even though we're supposed to be locked in and 6 feet away from each other. So let's start with a little bit of like the COVID and the George Floyd blending together and the hypocrisies. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. We went from virus to violence overnight. The mantra, I can't breathe, which was recirculated from Eric Garner,
Mhm.
came in perfect lockstep with us being, forced to wear face diapers. And the irony of those people at the protests wearing face diapers while saying, I can't breathe. Because I know that when I first put a face mask on, I couldn't breathe. And I'm a sensitive human being and in touch with my body and common sense. So, also, people at that time, we were all under lockdown. I was in the jungle in Costa Rica because I took Zach Voorhees, the Google whistleblower, because I'm in the future and I knew this was coming. So, but nonetheless, in the jungle, watched how the country was basically dismantled in a color revolution.
Bingo.
parading at some type of racial whatevers. And in truth, also, they used George Floyd to amp up the jabs in the number one vaccine hesitant community, blacks. So
Yep.
even using, oh, look, the government cares about racism, let's take this jab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because vaccine hesitancy is prevalent in Black people who remember the Tuskegee experiment. And
Bingo. Yep.
you had the Fauchster, the pandemic impresario going door to door in Black communities. And that was the real mission of it all was also the election year. And they had to bring in their mail-in voting. So the
Froze.
book talks about, the Benjamin Crumps, the knockoff Justin Trudeau mayor, Jacob Fry,
Mm-hmm.
and the what was going on in the country, also with the Sinaloa cartel, the Mexican cartels, the counterfeit money, because let's remember that this whole thing started over a fake 20, to
Mm-hmm.
which the only agency should have been the Secret Service, but they were nowhere to be seen. And in the Freedom of Information Act that I applied for, there was no even talk from the Secret Service as to where this money comes from. I mean, the thing is why this is dangerous is because it brings receipts, unlike the phony, Alex Jones trial.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give an example. For instance, boys and girls, when you have a sidebar, the whole point is that it's quiet. Nobody can hear the sidebar. But when you have a sidebar in the Alex Jones trial, and guess what? Everybody can hear it. Those are the little things that show, hey, this is fake and gay. But
Mm-hmm.
the real people that could be, because the Floyd family did threaten to sue me because they trademarked everything from keychains to slippers, right?
Crazy.
It's a big grift. So this shows without any doubt how multi-layered it is. And I did not know what I was going to find. And it's pretty, somber stuff.
So let's go to the narrative that we're told that George Floyd was choked out for whatever it was, 8 minutes and however many seconds or whatever the number was, which there's probably some numerology shit in there somewhere. But
Well, originally it was 8:46, which is the same time as the North Tower was hit. And
ooh,
I have a section of that in the book. And then it was really 9:29.
wow. So, but my point was just like no matter, even if you were just a normie, you started to realize there was inconsistencies with the story to where it's like this Hitler dick riding shit like Tripoli talks about. It's just because you're lied to about history doesn't mean the other guy is the good guy either. So this Derek Chauvin, free Derek, free Derek. Well, okay, if you're choking somebody out for 9 minutes, that's probably still not the right thing to do. But my point is
But
it
not
wasn't.
when you're orchestrated to do it and you're
Yes, right. But the people that are uninformed, they're like, "Oh, there's lies, so then we got to side with Derek now instead of George Floyd. We flip-flop." And then it's just still the same psyop, but they're not looking deeper into it. They're just looking to, "Oh, the other guy we were told is the bad guy is now the good guy." So like what are your thoughts on that? Like is Derek Chauvin in any way guilty or innocent or completely in on it or where do we go from here?
Well, I would invite you to read my book because obviously there's a whole chapter, and I'm assuming you don't know that he went to the School of Assassins. But when someone's a patsy and
Mhm.
there's blackmail or they're forced or they're doing shit for the Mexican cartel and also wanted for tax evasion, then you become the government's bitch. I mean, there's a lot
True.
more. It's not shades of gray. The guys worked at the same club.
Yes. That is the
So,
okay, they were both security guards, right?
no, I
No?
mean, he's an off-duty police officer, and George, a career criminal, all 6'6" of him, is doing security. So the story goes. So, but if you look deeper into it, so for instance, his truck driving past and what he was really doing. So there's a lot of nuance. And I mean, the people who've read the book are like, wow, how did you find this information? It's a page turner. And it's real journalism, which, yes, I am resentful at the parrots and the prostitutes. When I'm a brown girl from Montreal, Canada, whose first language isn't even English, it's French, who's made a good name for herself and used to get paid $2 a word. Okay. So
Hmm.
now when you are digitally assassinated, where you cannot make a living despite your brilliance and your creativity and your hard work ethic, of course it hits home, right? People
So
are
when,
clueless.
yeah, when did that initially first start? Like when did you start noticing that, like you said, canceled on all these transaction platforms, Venmo and different things like
A long story. I mean, it's long, and I'm the poster child for the social credit score. When did it start? Oh, when I blew the whistle on Bayer Crop Science and was
hmm.
told to watch my tires when I made Vanishing of the Bees and blew the whistle on Bayer and their poisons. That was my first death threat.
So
And
this has been 10 plus years then at this point. That's what you're saying? For sure.
oh yeah. Oh
That's
yes. I
crazy.
didn't know how special I was because I was gaslit as a divergent, but
Mhm.
I've reversed lupus. I'm 53 years old. I've almost died and I'm celebrating me. People think it's arrogance to be, after years of being gaslit, to love yourself and be like, wow, in the face of this pandemic, people are fucking as shallow as a puddle. They don't think. And I've
Mhm.
done the real work. I'm a real journalist. And instead, I get smeared on in Shadowland in a six-part series. So the trauma, it's like people can judge me, but a little girl would be fragile, little fucking snowflake woman for
Mhm.
getting canceled in one place, let alone all of these places. So I'm an OG. And now I'm too radioactive to go on because after Sam Tripoli, as you know, my website, honeycolony.com, gets hit by, it gets taken down by bots, or I go to do an Instagram and then it's just a black screen just for me.
Hmm. That's
So,
crazy.
yes, and I would love to see someone else in my shoes how they would handle it. Really. So, yes,
Yeah.
there's anger and resentment, and it's due because I stood for the truth and I was just doing my job as a journalist, right?
Mhm. And it's just unfortunately you find out that it's just easily expendable to these people. It's like when they're
We're
done
all
with you, they're done with
expendable.
you. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
all expendable, right? So someone who's blows up really quick with a mustache, and then all of a sudden they're on Tucker Carlson. It's like, where the fuck did you come from? But sure, not that smart. And you
Hmm.
could recirculate the public, you're not going to look deeper. You're not going to be a wild card that's going to question the system. But when you see too much, yeah, then you become dangerous.
What are
I
your thoughts on a kind of similar situation, but you know who Jake Shields is, right? Ex UFC fighter. He's
no.
got a podcast called Jake Shields Fight Back, and he's retired UFC fighter. He retired around the time of COVID, but then noticed all the crazy shit with COVID going on, so then started a podcast and started being outspoken and whatever, blah blah blah, calling out the Israel Gaza stuff, calling out this, calling out all the hypocrisies when everybody said you're too big of a person to do that. You're gonna whatever. So they canceled him off of all kinds of things. Similar situation to you, like all these banking things, all these these apps and transaction programs. It's just kind of crazy that like they're able to do that and it doesn't hit the mainline news that they're doing it to us. And then like I said, I don't know the complete details on it, but this whole FISA warrant shit just passed the other day. So now they're going to be able to surveil you even more on any warrantless on your emails, your transactions, which they're already doing anyways.
They're
But
already doing.
but it's like it's nuts that the normies, like you were saying a minute ago, they don't even know this shit's happening. They're the frogs in the boiling pot. They're three
Well,
degrees away from the end, and they don't even know it. It feels like a jacuzzi, nice and comfortable to them.
well, it's two different worlds.
Hmm.
There's something really brewing, and if you get the memo, so that's why I've changed. I wish I got the memo sooner because I devoted my whole life to my career. But for me, it's about getting your house in order and communing with the cosmos and being on a spiritual path. Because personally, I'm not choosing not to come back here. I believe in reincarnation. I've been shown things. I think. I've been granted a Kundalini where people, yogis work decades to try to get it and just tapped into something else. And there's a bifurcation going on in the age of Aquarius, and people can come back and again and again and again. and not do the real shadow work. But it's really all distraction. It's all distraction. And I remember being in Costa Rica in this woo-woo cafe where they put they literally said no talking about coronavirus. So there's a distinction between being a righteously ignorant human being or an ostrich and
Hmm.
choosing, knowing that this shit is happening and choosing, like, I believe God chose me to write this book, and I now know how the inverted matrix works, and I have a thirst of understanding. And now I no longer need to focus on the dark. That's what I've been guided. And so the book that I'm writing now is about magical realism, and it's the book I know that my soul has been waiting to write. And it's completely, it's about reincarnation and twin flames and unconditional love and quantum physics and a lot. It's more 5D than the
Hmm.
3D. So yeah, they're living in a, again, I mean, I personally don't want to live a fake and gay life. And that includes religions and any ideologies that you're identifying with to find value in yourself. So this lonely road of at least individuating and being a frequency that does really help influence if I'm given the chance. But I'm not going to be Sisyphus. And I mean, yeah, even like USPS is fucking with me. I mean, I invite people to go to Truth Lives Here on Rumble and see my interview with Jake, the Q shaman, where he's basically confirming
Hmm.
on live that I'm a targeted individual and that he's talking about his fuckery or fucking with him. And the USPS has links to the Masons, and I certainly talk about the Masons in my book.
Ooh, I like that. I mean, it is. It's like it's man, like people kind of forget about like USPS and like postal service and stuff, but it is the information. If they can suppress the old pieces of paper of information, now we have a digital world of phones and things like that. But think of I don't know, even shit, Ruby Ridge and stuff like, oh, we missed the getting your paperwork there by 1 day. So you missed your court appointment. I mean, it's like, dude, if they can mess with your mail, they can mess with your phones nowadays. It's,
Also,
it's,
I'll give
it's
you an
too much.
example. So, Honey Colony is a health and wellness magazine and marketplace. I was selling methylene blue way before Alex Jones.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
an functional medicine coach. Again, it's all optics, right? I go on a stage all of a sudden, I go on Sam Tripoli, all of a sudden you want to hear what I have to say. But I'm the same person, same influence, same, right? It's all the
Good point.
optics of someone else putting you in. If they're not, because they're hiding me, because I don't know how to string a sentence together, I'm not attractive, I'm not funny, I'm being sarcastic, right? I have all the fucking ingredients to be a household name,
Hmm.
and I'm purposely being hidden. So, what were you asking me? Just to,
Oh, no, I was just saying, just no matter what, like even if it was 30 years ago, suppressing the mail for,
oh yeah,
like
so
Ruby
so
Ridge and shit. Yeah.
so USPS, everybody's upgrading to their digital everything.
Hmm.
So I had to sign up my 15-year-old business that sells vitamin C, methylene blue. I'm a biohacker. And I right away, I can't create an account, even though I've been using USPS for 15 years. Right. So Maryam, knowing what I know, knows they're fucking with me, but call the customer service person who is very nice but useless and powerless. Is like, oh, I
Right.
can't reactivate your email. Right. So when you know, it's kind of lonely when you know the inner machinations of stuff. So then after 3 weeks, I am told that USPS has found my company digitally unsafe. So then I wrote a Substack because it's the end of human appeal. So when you're a Cassandra of Troy and you see what's coming, it's very lonely because I was doing the same thing with the vaccine. And now look, I mean, many of
Hmm.
us were right, but to have the courage to stand up for you, boys and girls, and now to be like, oh, can you sign up to my Substack? It's fucking humiliating. It's degrading. And then other people like, oh, Ian Carroll, you go on Tucker Carlson. Where are you? Where did you come from, buddy? Even
Hmm.
in the medical freedom, right? So now I know who's who in the zoo. So it's another reason not to have Miriam close by, because she knows how these people were groomed, the grift that they're running, and I can't help but speak the truth. So yes, it's all
So have you
co-opted.
met Ian Carroll or any of these people? Have you ever had interactions with him before?
No, not Ian per specific. I'm sure he's a very nice guy, but again, the point is he's not going to be. Did he call the Pfizer and the FDA and nursing homes? I was actually all of these calls, they were
Yeah,
scrubbed,
I know what you're saying.
right? Like I was commissioned to do a vaccine as a functional medicine coach back in 2020, early 2022. And
Hmm.
I posted it on Smashwords. Then I was went to hyperlink the show, the detox guide. It's gone. My other ebooks are gone, and I'm gone. My
Wow.
profile is gone. And then the TOS is causing injury. You get it? I'm writing a
Mhm.
book on how to help injured people. I'm the one causing the injury. It's very
Gotcha.
specific, and they tailor their torture to the person, because no, you don't have to be a public figure with a big mouth like me. You can
Hmm.
be I've, as a consultant, I've sat with people who've been gang stalked. Um, and it's common. Again, if you go see my interview with Jake, it's like I wrote to Bill Maher, who has my book. If I went on Bill Maher, I bet you'd buy my book. I bet the boys and girls, because now someone else has endorsed me. So they know damn well if Miriam's talking about herself, oh, look, she's arrogant, she's whatever. But it's like, I'm going to be my own best health advocate.
Speaking of him, what are your thoughts on Bill Maher? Because like recently, he's this weird, like sometimes he's kind of been this liberal retard forever and had shitty takes for the longest time. But then it was like a lot of people post COVID, they would be a broken clock right twice a day kind of thing. Where you're like, okay, I'll give him points for that. And then it's like, but then he'll follow it up with something else retarded afterward. Like, do you think Bill Maher is getting thrown into like I don't know, possibly like paid by Republicans or some shit or anything. I don't know. Like I feel like there's like an influence that either maybe he's waking up because he seems like the same guy, or is he just
It's
being
the
pushed?
over, no, it's everybody's playing a role.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the overtone window. It's the overtone window. It's in
Hmm.
sync. There's a symphony, and they're bound by their institutions, right?
Yeah.
So a persona is different. I'm grateful to Bill because he is the only one that didn't charge me and gave me footage to feature in Vanishing of the Bees. I'm grateful for him for bringing attention back when Ellen was still a chick, and I helped get her on the show. And I was going to go on Bill Maher to talk about the bees, but then the Rona happened.
Mm.
So, hmm, I mean, anybody that's, like, oh, you love Tucker Carlson, sure. CIA roots, and he's playing the role. It's like, but let's say Candace. Okay, whatever. She's allowed. She's allowed to play that role. But
Good
there's
point.
materialism, okay? What do you serve? Not you specifically. I'm just saying I don't serve, I'm not controlled by money. I need it. I'm having problems making ends meet because I'm dangerous of the truth and my courage. But
Hmm.
I know that it's just optics. For instance, I tell a girl that I've made this movie, this book, and then I say I was smeared on Shadowland. She goes to see the Shadowland because it's NBC, not my work. And then
Gotcha.
goes, oh, you were good in that. I was good in that. I was being fucking smeared. Well, what are you talking about? Right? So it's all optics. It's sad to me because
Hmm.
where's the substance? There are people who do watch Truth Lives Here and follow my work who actually appreciate authenticity and honesty. And it's a high vibe, right? So I might come across as anger, but again, you walk in my shoes. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just
Hmm.
saying, right? When I speak about this topic, I have I'm righteous because I know all
You're
these
passionate and honest about
grifters.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and educated. So one day there might be, I told Bill maybe at the 10-year anniversary, year 2030, then the truth, people will be ready to ask, huh, what happened to Derek? What happened to even the man who stabbed Derek read my book, okay?
Hmm.
And learned a couple of things. Chris Martin, the boy who took the 20, learned a few things from me and said, wow, I didn't realize this was so deep. He's in the operation.
He's in the moment. Yeah, he's not seeing it from a overhead eagle eye view. Yeah.
Well, he's because he's used in there's useful idioms, there's a Jean provocateurs, there's there's a room for error. I mean, during the trial that nobody watched of the three officers, it was established. It was really the police manual was on the stand. It was really revealed that this was an entire duty to intervene exercise. And in the testimony, they say that yeah, it's very real, and sometimes there's accidents, right? It's like you could people I say in the book, go read Bill Gates's pandemic film that came book that came out where he has a chapter called practice, 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 and details all the different. I mean, didn't we just live as guinea pigs? The
Mm-hmm.
biggest psychological operation of human history.
Mm-hmm. And what was the thing that took place in September of 2019, I believe, Event 201? Is that what it was called? Like, playing simulations. It's like these guys
Yeah.
are playing the board game Risk, basically. Like they're just
Well,
they're 5 steps ahead of us and playing with pawns.
absolutely. It's incrementalism. That's
Hmm.
why I get into Tavistock and when I was young as a chick, I loved mysteries and Agatha Christie and Hardy Boys and
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo. So I personally wrote a tale that is very informative but reads like a whodunit and has, images and freedom of information. And it takes obviously a lot of tenacity to not tap out. And again, know, I did not know how deep it goes. I just was following the story and the puzzle pieces, and it took 5 years. And of course, the story was still kind of unfolding with the trials. And maybe it's like because there's so much news, but people don't even realize, oh yeah, it's been 2 years. Whatever happened to Derek after
Hmm.
getting stabbed 22 times?
Yeah. Yes, people forgot about that.
Yeah. And he was,
Everything gets memory hold. It's so fast anymore that the information age, whatever the hell you want to call it, but the flooding of information is the problem in a way because you don't have time to digest it all.
right, right. And there's no point digesting just headlines because
Yes, that's
there's
my
a lot.
point. Yes.
Yeah,
You don't
there's
have
a
time to dig deeper to the questions you might have going, hey, that headline and that story doesn't really add up a whole lot. Hey, here's 5 more stories. Oh shit, now I gotta look at this one. It's like the life of a conspiracy theorist. Like you can't keep up with everything, and it's unfortunate. And
yeah,
normies, they're doomed.
yeah. I like to distinguish myself from a conspiracy theorist, but have also obviously theories. But if I don't look at it myself, then I can't speak intelligently and I won't speak to it. Like I
I like
stay
that.
away from the
Yeah.
whole antiseptic conversation because it's just a trap. It's a trap
It
and it's
is.
division. And I would, you know, say to my Jewish friends, it's like, why are you so tied to your ideology? I was raised Christian. I'm a heretic because I'm about the truth.
Mhm.
And any Christian, because now there's a whole swing to the Christian right. Oh, really?
Bingo.
You're citing the
Christian
Bible?
nationalism.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Citing the Bible. Whose Bible? Oh, King James. Was he a good guy? You think he was a good guy?
Yeah,
So
right.
when you realize as a scribe and record keeper, oh, Aramaic spoken, Coptic, Latin, Greek,
Mhm.
Hebrew. Oh, English, lots later, right? So
Mhm.
the word stars gets turned into kings, and then a Christian will get offended, but it's the truth.
You're right, yeah.
It's the truth. And Christ consciousness is a frequency which you establish and tap into with your heart. But when you create a bioweapon that attacks the heart, and now you're seeing a disconnection because I'm clairaudient, clairsentient, and I scan people, it's like, oh, they're nobody home.
I'm
Nobody
kind of like that
discusses.
too. Like I'm a musician, so like I have to meet people all the time, playing gigs and stuff. I got a gig tonight, but my point is I've been a musician forever, and it's that same of like me and another guitar player I used to play with years ago, Eddie Bishop. He used to call it "smile, nod, and kiss the babies," like a politician, because you want the people to stay and buy some beers and watch your band play or whatever, and whatever, make some money. But half these people you walk up to, you're like, there's nobody here. You're a fucking retard. Like you are blank space, like in between your ears, and it's unfortunate because like I'm not as probably educated as you on some of these subjects, but I have enough. I don't have answers to that's why I call myself a conspiracy theorist, because I'm like, okay, everybody goes, "Oh, Mr. Conspiracy Guy, you got the answers to everything." I don't know fucking shit. I just know that I have more questions than they're giving us answers. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you meet some of these people in public sometimes and you're like, there's nothing going on between here. At least have some questions. You might not be able to answer them, but at least be open-minded. So like you were talking about from a young age being into mysteries and storytelling and things. And you
Well,
seem like
I
a
think
really open-minded person. It's cool that you're like on this next level of,
I
you know
think
what I'm
it's
saying?
because of the Kundalini.
Yeah.
I really was shown a lot of things and shown like, remember, this is an age of remembrance. And it's like, maybe I come off as a snob because I couldn't hang out with someone who's blank upstairs because I want, there's no I was like chubby fatso nerd growing up and really worked hard to find myself and to go against the grain. And so now in this age of mediocrity, yes, men will be like, "You're so fascinating, you're tantalizing." It's like, yeah, go look at my show. I'm not here to be your entertainment, because now on Instagram all I can do is dance videos.
Yeah.
So it's because it's not only what you say, Derek, it's who says it.
Hmm.
Because Cuomo could say after the fact, right? Because they're all puppets. And if they do speak out, they will be removed. So if you see someone they're saying and they're giving ampage, including a Candace Owen, right? Candace Owen,
Hmm.
oh, here's my trailer to my movie. Oh, look, Candace, you're doing a movie now a month later. So those are the little things when I know you know Candace, but nobody, people won't say. They could just say she's jealous or whatever. I'm not jealous. I'm pissed off at how it's rules for thee and not for we. How
Yeah.
it's just us, right? When these elites should be like, bravo to this little brown girl. She's come a
Yeah.
long way. She's come a long way to find herself. And hey, kudos for how she put this together, right?
Yeah. And it's like,
Um,
nope, silence.
no, because uh, they, as we established, once your role is whether it's Charlie Kirk or Derek Chauvin, they don't care. They
Hmm.
don't care. It's a checkerboard, right? It's pawns
Yeah,
being.
bingo. They'll take you out when you're not useful anymore to them. Your time is up.
So, for instance, let's say John Tursack, you could read about the man who stabbed Derek on my Substack because I haven't been able back in the day, you could call the newsroom. And I wrote pitch stories for Penthouse, Hollywood Reporter, Maxim, Rolling Stone, all the top magazines.
Hmm.
And now they've all been co-opted and they're woke. They're woke
Yeah.
AF, right? They're propaganda machines. So when you learn that they don't really care, you serve your purpose, and so what matters to do the inner work, if you are on a spiritual journey, to do the shadow work, to know yourself, and to be shown. I believe we with these solar flares, with this age of Aquarius, personally, I think that you can reach a higher frequency.
Hmm.
And I was very much in a dark space. So if you're stuck in the survival paradigm, which I'm still grappling with because I've been working since the age of 13. I mean, I have a Q of 141. I built $1 million company, and literally now I know that they're effing with me. My company was infiltrated by Procter and Gamble. I hired two women on Upwork that posed as women that are into minority female run businesses, but they were with Procter and Gamble.
Empowerment is,
No, they
yeah,
were
but
woke witches. They were
yeah,
woke
exactly.
witches. They were see you next Tuesdays that
Hmm.
were stupid enough to tell me one of the reasons we're leaving is because you use the word gay and you're offensive to the gay community. They didn't. She
Like,
doesn't.
what are you, a fucking faggot? No.
But I said, well, I'm the
I'm
writer of the
joking. I'm
reason
joking, but yeah.
etymology, and gay comes from the 16th century Germanic origin and means full of mirth and showy. So homosexuals should be upset because that word was co-opted, right? So
Hmm.
but that does happen. Because I couldn't be bought off, I had to be infiltrated. If they can't get to you, they will use someone else to get to you.
Hmm.
So that's why personally I'm a lone wolf. I play frequencies. I meditate now. When I was like 16 hours on, I dance. I just I'm and I'm very proud of myself because I have ADHD and couldn't meditate and was literally reporting 24/7 on the Rona to try to inform and educate and warn people of the exact what's happening, what is still happening, right? The the prion disease, the dementia, the myocarditis, the people that are
Yep.
dealing with all their health issues and have no idea that it's really a vaccine spurred injury, like it's endless, right? So
Hmm.
your health, your temple, your mind to have coherence and it takes work and it takes dedication. It's not the easy avatar choice.
Well, a couple things in there kind of really stood out to me. So, like the idea of, like you were talking about, like Candace and some of these people, where it's okay for them to say these things now. And it's like what Tripoli talks about. You got safe, dangerous, and dangerous, dangerous, right? And
Mhm.
so now that it's safe, dangerous time, now 5, 6 years later, you can talk about COVID or myocarditis or these things. If you talked about it then, you're instantly deplatformed, debanked, all the above, right? But then also another thing that I wanted to bring up with that, you had brought up, the psyop of this whole the Jewish this and blah blah blah. And there is some truth to it. I'm with you because there is it's like
Very
Tripoli says
lucrative,
as well.
Derek.
There's it's
Very
middle
lucrative.
management. There's middle management areas. So there is some Jewry afoot, but it's not the end all be all of everything. But with you being in Florida, I wanted to ask, so you've got new, like we're talking freedom of speech and canceling people. We've got new anti-Semitism laws in Florida, and then I believe the first person to be arrested, that chat group or whatever that girl was in,
I
talking
don't
about,
know
well,
about it. Tell me. I don't know.
so long story short, this girl was in like a 10, 15 person inter-college chat group, and they had some report or some event the next day, and she made a joke because they were talking about Israel and Palestine or whatever. And she said, well, maybe hopefully Netanyahu will bomb our college tomorrow and we don't have to do it. She got arrested. Literally got arrested. This is a week ago in Florida. And it's crazy because you're like, okay, I'm not pushing back on your thought because I think there is way bigger problems than just the Jew thing, but it's also turning into this like, well,
The
we're
Jew
losing
thing.
freedom of
The Jew
speech.
thing.
I know. I just mean like if you bring up certain things out loud, all of a sudden, like, oh, you can't say that. And you're like, well, there's a legitimate question sometimes, but my point is that's just the first step of encroachment of canceling people and social credit scores and class systems. And you're
But
like,
it's already underway. It's a
right.
perfect, that's why I'm saying the antiseptic discussion is a trap and it's also lucrative. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, people posing as anti as hating Jews that are Jews and making money off of hating
Mm. Yeah,
like
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
that kind of thing. Like, you know, boasting about how much money is made off of antiseptic materials and brewing hate, right? So it's like it would go back to like an eye for an eye or turn the other cheek. And it's just riling. Yeah, I mean, I knew this was in the works to arrest people with their antiseptic laws that you could be held. Um, they can do anything, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if someone goes to my show and sees my interview with Nikki, Cindy Falco. So 2020, I'm in the jungle covering the Rona on, was still on Twitter. and I see a woman in Broward County serving, subpoenaing council members. Well, someone had it out for Cindy. So she's been harassed by cops. Her father was a peace officer. She's a minister and was accosted, excuse me, by someone she thought was a parking attendant, is a hoodlum cop now, and
Mm.
just spent a week in jail. They had stripped her and taken her to the men's suicide prison, assaulted her. This is happening. I went to the UPS store like 4 months ago. I've been going there to return things. And I was panicked because my account was in the minus, and that's never happened to me. I'm 6 planets in Capricorn, and don't have a mother father. My father disowned me. I don't have a boyfriend. I'm alone,
Mm.
and I built this into $1 million company. I would have never thought I can't fucking sell the book because the publisher is a fucking Fed, and I'm
Mm.
banned on Amazon. Okay, I never anticipated. I thought you work really hard, so it's $5 for the UPS store to accept an email. That's kind of retarded, right? To accept
Wow.
an email. So I was trying, he sees me there all the time. So I started to speak back and say, why don't you help a sister out? I stood up for, blacks are number one vaccine hesitant, but he was vaccinated and clueless and called the
Mhm.
police on me. Next thing I know, for the first time in my life, I'm in the back of a cop car. It happened just
Wow.
like that.
Wow.
So if Cindy, a 66-year-old woman, could be assaulted by cops and spend time in jail, like, so dude, I was went to speak at an Acapulco, and I
Yeah, cool.
I was my friend wanted to stay. I told him I have my gut is telling me to leave. Literally the next day the cartel action erupted. I would have been stuck there for at least a week. So I get on
Mhm.
Delta flight, and for the first time I happen to be wearing a t-shirt that says Van fucking Halen. And I get
Eddie
on,
Van Halen for life. It's my favorite guitar player.
really?
Yeah.
Well, the stewardess said, "Oh, I like your t-shirt, but it's prohibited." What? Right? I kind of glitched out. And I said something under my breath, like, "Oh, this is remnants of the Rona regime." So I could have been kicked off. I've been kicked off trains. I've been kicked off planes for, um, there's no profanity. You can't have the F word in the United States of America on your t-shirt. Did you know that?
Unless Donald Trump says it. One of his recent tweets, like a month ago, or whatever, when he was, or whatever, the Iran shit, or we'll blow them out of the fucking water, or whatever. You're like, oh, okay, that's completely celebrated. That no, it was on Easter.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I've
But
clued
anyways,
out
that's
as that. I don't
crazy.
pay attention
You're
to.
wearing a Van Halen shirt and it has the F word on it. And they're trying to kick you off an airplane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And have kicked me off of a train, the Bright Line, for saying the F word to my girlfriend. I didn't say fuck you to anybody. I said the F word. So is it because I'm targeted? Is it because I'm a high frequency? I am not quite sure. I just know it's ridiculous.
That
And
is interesting.
it
Yeah.
was wild that it was the first time and only time I've worn that t-shirt. So
I got
uh,
plenty of vulgar t-shirts. You got to pick and choose when to wear them sometimes.
I guess so.
I guess it shouldn't be that way, but
Yeah, I mean, did you know that you can't wear the profanity? Did you know that?
I didn't know that. That's insane. Like on an airplane, you can't wear profanity. Like that's. I remember getting in trouble in like middle school and high school for wearing metal band t-shirts that had shit I probably shouldn't have worn at school. But it's like okay, that's different. You're a kid, but as a grown ass adult on an airplane or a train, like that shouldn't be a thing that exists.
Yeah, but it is. It's another control mechanism, and yeah,
Well, here's a
I
funny
know
irony.
it's
It makes you think of like the masks, right? Like, so the people that don't wear a mask make the other people uncomfortable around them. What about the people that don't wear the masks? Do they feel uncomfortable having all these zombie retards wearing masks around them? Like, back to rules for thee and not for me kind of shit. Like, well, wait, if they're offended by something, can't I be offended by it? I'm not saying make it an offended game, but
right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like where's my opinion on it, you know?
Well, even having a health condition and having a doctor's note didn't make a difference to,
Hmm.
be forced to wear a fucking mask for 6 hours on a plane. And I
And
had
some
to,
places wouldn't even allow what do you call it? Like religious exemption. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, wait a minute, I thought we're open minded and inclusive.
yeah, and people want to move on. I had an ex-boyfriend that has never gotten any vaccines, but he took one for the team so he could go work in Hollywood in a
Ooh,
Canada shoot, right? So he could afford to take a one shot, play Russian roulette with his life, and then tell me it's, I mean, he told me this a while ago. It's over, Mimi, it's over. And I'm like, it's just begun. What are you talking about? Like the repercussions of these vaccines, again, they gave saline. It's
yeah.
called it's called staggering your deaths, and it's called an experiment. In June 2020, they had a symposium to discuss the pros and cons of bypassing animals in the face of an emergency, right? So they literally were questioning, and we were the guinea pigs. We were the guinea pigs, the amount of turbo cancers, unnecessary deaths.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, there's sure some people are good at sweeping shit under the rug, but then there's those of us like empaths that are processing for other people,
Hmm.
that are doing, I mean, it's like, someone that's an avoidant or just not wanting to face their pain and just shoving it, shoving it, shoving it. It's going to pronounce itself, whether it's cancer or alcoholism.
100%.
Somehow it has to come out, right? So everyone has their karma and dharma. It depends, like how many people come back to planet Earth and do it again and again and again. Personally, I got the memo that I'm an ancient soul and this ain't my first rodeo. So I would like to find moksha or liberation, which is a whole other topic.
Time for ascension, time for the next step. Is that what you mean? Is like, because I don't know. I mean, like I'm very open-minded to the idea of and I'm not making this like an argument, but I mean, I'm very open-minded to the idea of reincarnation. And then there's also the
It's
question
a
of like,
real
okay,
thing.
no, no, I'm
The
yes,
tribal
I'm
ritual.
going with you on
Yeah,
this. And I'm saying
yeah.
like if it is a real thing, it's like how many times do you do it until it's time, like what you're kind of saying, to take
Well,
the next step, right?
when I've
Yes.
been told. I mean, I wrote in my journal 2 years ago, this is the last life. I've been on a spiritual journey since I was 13. I do feel now that I am, as far as consciousness, I realize now that it's you'll know because you'll be led to do inquiry. So
Hmm.
at 13, when I'm like, why am I more mature than my mother and father at
Hmm.
13? Right? And then if it, alas, the environment, the epigenetics, there's no real cultivating that. So
Right.
now I always was intuitive since my near death experience, particularly like, but then after the Kundalini, it's kind of like my psychic. I'm not a performance circus animal, but I will get messages. And if anything, I haven't learned, like I've trusted people that my gut was telling me otherwise. But my point is you would be taking it seriously.
Hmm.
There's a short film that I had found accidentally on YouTube about this guy that has, I guess, like a Schrodinger's cat cube, and he's at
Yeah.
the diner, and I wish I knew the name. It's a short film. Taps the cube, and he like takes like basically a screen capture of that moment, and he's sitting with this woman, and basically she's like, how long have we been doing this? And that particular scene, and he's like, I don't know, 20 years or something, also that he can find a different permutation so he can go speak to this girl. So when she finds out, she helps him. He actually does get further along. In other words, not repeating the same mistakes, coming further along, and then still, you know, still ends up dying and then doing it over and over and over again. So that's kind of like an age-old question, right? To know that at every little, we're constantly making timeline shifts. If you take
Hmm.
a risk and follow your gut and follow your intuition and jump timelines, like I'm just going to move here, right? I'm going to just, that's maybe getting harder and harder to do because I think this entire construct is just one big fucking distraction, including with religion,
Hmm.
to not look within, not remember. So you
Yeah.
could sit in contemplation and develop that. Um, the Kundalini that I keep mentioning, that if someone told me, if I heard myself before I had this experience, that'd be like, and I was like, what's with all these Kundalini? I'm a yogi, but what's with all this Kundalini? They're trying to force it, trying to force it. So what happens is the snake, which
You
they,
oppose it. I mean, you almost
well,
oppose it. You know, it's like if everybody's doing it, you're like, "Oh, I don't want to do it because of that." But continue. Sorry.
well, yeah, maybe that's a different distinction that you don't clue into it or whatever. I just didn't
Uh-huh.
know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But then just spontaneously had it felt like an orgasm going up my spine. And it was someone else, a man, who me just tapping into him. I had not even met him. I didn't know it was a Kundalini, and then it's happened several times. It's kind of like these kriyas of, it's like a nervous system upgrade.
Hmm.
And
Like
then
a
being,
yeah overload in a way, but in a good way.
oh yeah, well, yeah, good way, but they killed Ishtov Bentov, who wrote about the Kundalini and consciousness, and there's another person who wrote a book, Kundalini Transcendence or Psychosis. Because if you're not individuated or have a spiritual practice and you start hearing voices, well, Ishtov even said a lot of the people in the loony bins are gifted or tapped
Yes.
into a different dimension and then labeled and drugged, right?
Let's do that for another. I would love to have you back again, and that's something
Yeah.
I've wanted to talk about for a while. I've needed the right guest. I feel like you're the right guest for that. Like because there's something crazy about what we're deemed crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like when we hear of what do you call it? People that are they hear voices and shit. What's the damn term? I'm going
Schizo.
blank right now. What's that?
Schizo.
Yeah, yeah, schizophrenia, right? So, we hear the term schizophrenia, and it's like there's more to it than just labeling these people the black sheep and putting them over here. Like, doesn't mean that they're all able-minded people, but it means that they might know some shit that it's worth studying. It's worth looking into. But
Well,
it's just
yeah.
like history and awakenings and ancient history and ancient cultures, civilizations. Like, there's these dogmas that you're like, nope, this person's a little weird, we don't allow that, and we're never going to talk about that. You're like, well, why are they weird? It's like when you see like a teenage, like I don't know, a kid actor, and then when they hit 21 years old and they're like, oh, they're crazy and on drugs. Why are they crazy and on drugs? Oh, well, they probably got molested or they got whatever somewhere on a movie set, but nobody ever asked that question. They're like, oh, well, their life fell apart. You're like, okay, can we ask a couple questions here? So yes, let's get into that next time on
Yeah. I
like
mean, it's
mental
easy to
institutions. What do you
stigmatize.
think of before we end real quick?
Yeah.
With that same thought, okay, because you got my brain running a bunch of places and I love it. So with the mental institutions, you hear the idea of like Tartaria, the World's Fairs, the Cabbage Patch Kids, the insane asylums. What are your thoughts on that as we're kind of coming to a close real quick?
Yeah.
Like, do you think there's validity or is that just muddying the waters?
Well, there's a lot of muddied waters, but so you
True.
have to be specific. I'm into specifics and details, and I definitely know that mental institutions, a lot of people were sent there for re-education camps or because they were threatening to the status quo. I think it's very easy. I know I could be dubbed cuckoo very easily. If I could end up in the back of a cop car, luckily the woman, I could tell
Right.
she wasn't vaccinated. I looked at her in the eyes and she told me to go get anger management courses. I'm not going to anybody that's brainwashed. So it's really, what's the difference between someone who's getting downloads it's like knowing yourself, knowing because it's like no one's going to tell me this is reality. This fucking clown show that we're living in is going to be
You're
the
right.
determinant of reality. But my inner landscape and the downloads that I've gotten are cuckoo, right? So it's about being confident and who do you surround yourselves and just I'll just say this with Ishtov. I mean, I might say be pronouncing his name. He was killed, okay? And the Gateway experience came out of his work. Bob Monroe and the determining loosh, it's all comes from his Bentov's work. And
Interesting.
yeah, I wrote about it on my Substack because it's a little detail that is goes overlooked, the link between Bentov and the Gateway experience. And so when you have a Kundalini, you become more left brain,
Hmm.
or sorry, the more which is the side that's
The
creative.
artistic side, is
Yeah,
that the left brain? I believe it is left brain.
yeah. So we are programmed to be more. So the telepathy tapes, these autistic children prove that
Yes.
when you nurture, and so if we were all not brainwashed and put into this program, we could all develop that, right? It
You're right.
depends,
It's
even
a
like
superpower.
it totally is a superpower, and we have innate divinity. And so I thought that maybe because I've almost died and had an NDE, that life is about being, the best version of Derek, the best version of Maryam. And but now living your soul purpose is not really cultivated, or especially in this rat race of money and economy. So I would love to come back, and
Yeah.
I've also taken a look into mental institutions and been fascinated.
For a while, I post a lot of controversial shit on the internet, but for I don't know, like a decade, I was really thinking about getting into like some kind of like psychiatric help, and not for myself. I mean, like helping somebody, like as a career. But
Yeah.
then I was like, everybody's like, well, okay, yeah, you might want to do that, but you're probably going to get canceled immediately with all the crazy shit you post. I'm like, yeah, probably fuck, yeah,
You could
exactly.
still be a,
But
a counselor. You could still,
yes, yeah, it's like I like the idea of just letting people talk and just hearing people, and that's the easiest thing in the world. Yet we're told not to do that. We're told to suppress everything. We're told to. I mean, like, okay, not to make a joke, like the old Dave Chappelle, Clayton Bigsby, where he's a black, white, blind supremacist, and he's like, if you got hate in your heart, let it out. Well, there's a little bit of truth to that in a way. Like, if you got hate, if you got love, you got anything, you got emotion, you got thoughts, get the shit out. You'll feel
yeah, it
better,
depends how
and
you
you'll
do it,
understand
right?
the real ones around you that are going to understand you if you're just being honest with yourself. And you start with being honest with yourself, then you'll start to realize who the real people are around you. Miriam,
Ex-
this was fantastic. I could talk to
Thank
you
you,
all
Derek.
day on a
Thank
world of
you.
subjects. So we're definitely doing this again.
I would love to thank you for the opportunity, and
For
I hope
sure.
that you could put my links down so
That's
people.
what I was going to say next. Yeah, remind everybody where they can find you, and I'll put all your links in the show notes as well.
So you can buy the book on maryamhenein.com, and you could use GF book for 15% off. And the movie, you can send a donation if you reach out to me at Maryam@honeycolony.com, and I'll send a link that I got from Sean because I'm banned on Vimeo, or you can get an old school. I am doing Soul Purpose. I have a minor in psychology and an accreditation through the Institute of Functional Medicine. So I'm focusing more on using my investigative skills, my pattern recognition, my intuition, and my knowledge of health to help people if they resonate with me and want to do a reading and mix it. That's also on maryamhenein.com. My specialties are autoimmune conditions, vaccine injuries, and mold toxicity. And I used to write for California Psychics, but I used to do I learned the tarot and I kind of just gave it up, and now just doing readings again. And then I have a show on Rumble, mostly Rumble, Fridays live. It's called Truth Lives Here. Thank you, Derek, for having me. And I express my frustration, but for me, I want to express joy, and people can go on Instagram and see my silly interpretive dance videos.
I love it. Well, that's kind of what I was just saying right before you were talking. Is it's like doesn't mean if you got thoughts, let them out. Don't imprison them. Like keep them, let them out, and you'll feel better. You'll feel more honest with yourself and all the above. Your woo woo or whatever, and it's like, yeah, guys, just be honest with yourself. Find truth in yourself, and then you'll find truth in everything else.
Well, find
Miriam,
people also that won't gaslight you and that will hold
bingo.
safe space to for you to express yourself. Sorry to interrupt.
100%. No, I was just gonna say, Miriam, you were awesome. I could talk to you about a million subjects. And guys, Stitt-Heads, like I'm hitting 150 episodes, and I've not had near enough female guests on this show. I've had a handful, but
Awesome.
this is the ones I do pick. They knock it out of the damn park every time. So, Miriam, you're great. We'll do this again next time. And Stitt-Heads, I'll see you next time. Peace out, bitches. Bye. Click.
Thanks, sweetheart. Thank you.
Yes.